of bars.
You're talking about our closure would result in amounts of business. So what they're already pushing for, and I agree with them, is to narrow it down to account of the message that we're trying to put forward.
The association's president said there was a need for more responsibility.
The population, especially the operators and owners, we need to be more responsible. We need to exercise more responsibility.
That was major news to the hour.
The voice of the president of Barkeepers and Operators. Trinidadians and 5 Venezuelans are being questioned by the police following the interception of a vessel by the Coast Guard. The vessel was blocked in the Gulf of Paria. Coast Guard officials allegedly found 5 large packets of marijuana. The 5 people were handed over to the Customs and Excise Division and the Immigration Department. The Coast Guard said it continues to provide border security services. Member of Parliament for Mayaro, Rushton Parry, has criticized the process for the government's support to small and medium-sized businesses. Mr. Parry, who is the opposition's spokesperson on trade and industry, application procedure is cumbersome. He stated that the government has been inefficient with respect to the implementation of measures associated with COVID-19. He said the measures are not through consultation. Finance Minister Colin Imbert last week said that a $300 million loan program was being kicked off this week. Mr. Parry said that many small and medium-sized businesses have suffered and some have had to be closed as a result of the impact of the pandemic. A police bailed after appearing in court on forced sexuality a 15-year-old girl. The 24-year-old policeman was granted bail in the sum of $175,000 with a surety or $25,000 cash alternative by a Scarborough magistrate. The matter was postponed to July 24th. A second teenager has drowned at the Rio Seco waterfall in Matura on Logan. A 19-year-old student of Porter Lane, Siparia, drowned last Saturday evening. 6 days earlier, Tristan Matheson also drowned at the waterfall, Guayco Sangre Grande. Both drownings took place during hiking expeditions. Vishnu credited with several improvements within the boundaries of the council. Mr. Tika Singh, who was 71 years old, has left behind his wife, 3 children and 4 grandchildren. This was news to 3 p.m. on U97.5 FM. Hot you. Stay tuned for Politics 2020 with Mr. Ken Ali and Ann Duki. I am Aruna Bansi. Good afternoon.
That was major news to the hour. Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Leisure Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
Grand Diamond Hotel invites you to dine in our newest and exquisite grand opening Chai Thai restaurant, Yaku. Come and enjoy our authentic Thai and Indian cuisine, and our outdoor terrace would be available from the 22nd of June. We can offer you our indoor and outdoor patio and rooftop restaurant dining. All meats halal. For reservations, call 331-5013-320. 119@gmail.com. Opening hours 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Takeaway and delivery services are available 11 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. Secure parking and excellent services.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Carry Care International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card and Republic Bank points are all accepted. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barraco, GN Building in Pinal and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BTCino, Leviton and General Electric. Call 954 from
Fact. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Babu. I'm inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk this Monday, 29th June from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we
3 p.m. Monday, the 29th day of June 2020. Thank you very much for staying with us on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. A Monday in which most parts of Trinidad and Tobago, it's pretty fast. She'll be here with the 4 p.m. news bulletin and then again at 6 p.m. And Duki, yours truly, Ken Ali, here with our talk show, Politics 2020. We go until 6 p.m. And we also on our YouTube channel, our colleague Shiva Parasram here has us on youtube.com RCLU975. You can also log on to 975radio.com and of course listen to us 75 FM. Thank you very much. We always deeply appreciate you being here wherever you are, and thank you for making us the #1 afternoon talk show. Again, it means a tremendous lot to us. We have our general election 2020. Well, as the newscast indicates, several things happening in Trinidad and Tobago. We want to develop on those, and we want to tell you about some other matters. And you know how we operate. We try to enlist as much responses as we can. We invite your calls, and we'll open the lines in a little bit, but we're always available for your text messages on our various platforms. All our platforms, feel free to send us a message or messages as we go through the afternoon into the evening, and happy to read from them. Now, a lot of things happening, as we said. The Parliament meets today. The Parliament, that is the Senate, Wednesday, in what may be the final sitting before the mid-year vacation. It is a time, according to the revised standing orders, and those standing orders introduced by the previous administration, they go on vacation until the start of September, unless there is something urgent. There are provisions in the standing orders for the Parliament to be reconvened. Of course, the Prime Minister at any time may give the notice of a general election writ, which is required 35 days notice, 14 days for nomination day and 21 days thereafter. If he does not do when the party, it's the 5th anniversary, and then it is naturally prorogued, and he has 90 days in which, and he often says to the country, he can call the election anytime before December 23rd. And that is legally and constitutionally correct. Whether in fact he would do that is another matter. We'll get into that as we go on. The COVID-19 matter today, the government tightened up regulations with respect to the opening of bars, deciding to instead open up to 8 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. and blaming that on a few bar owners. Now, I see Vasant Bharat is already closing it 2 hours earlier. Shouldn't you take action, prosecute with those who be a reasonable decision that should have been taken? Instead, we had the government officials meeting today with the media minister at that
well,
time.
Precisely,
Yeah,
that is
so
how Trinidadians are.
what explains that? And then, you know,
What explains that you wouldn't get COVID at 7:30? Ken?
right. You understand? What, you know, and listen, nobody is encouraging people to go and drink. What we're saying is
Be reasonable.
right. And then, you know, the bars offer people eat food there too. People, this is the people who supply the you get their suppliers. There are a lot of people working in the kitchens and so on. So you're displacing a lot of people in this informal sector. We come back to that as we go on through the course of the afternoon. We want to tell you what's happening in Guyana. The stalemate continues there. In the polit candidates, we are on that, the PNM, and then the UNC so far naming, 17 candidates. We spoke with Jerlene and John yesterday, and arising from that, we want to discuss National Airline, Caribbean Airlines just sent out a note. Gavin Medera is the boss man there, and he sent out a note essentially saying that the airline will begin flights, international flights within the next few days, early in July. We'll give you some more details on that. Just before we go on, I have in front of me, and let me deal with it. So, more showers ahead, and as another tropical of the southern windward islands are associated with the tropical breeze and so on, strong upper level winds. All right, so all of that, you know that story. So expect some bad weather coming forward. But we'll talk about the national airline reopening flights. Now, that is significant because we're hearing of this in no COVID-19 cases. In fact, today was a grim milestone. Over 500,000 deaths there have been so far. Over 500,000 deaths. There were 10.1 million cases around the world. In 36 of America's 50 states, there's been a resurgence, including in Florida, which is nearest to Trinidad and Tobago, and where Caribbean Airline flies. In fact, over the last few days, there have been about nearly 25,000 new cases in Florida. So while we're all anxious for the reopening of our borders, I think we've got to be cautious, and I hope Caribbean Airlines has taken note of that. Well, I don't know if they have. Now, they're saying here, daily flights between Kingston, Jamaica, and New York will begin July 6th, right? July 6th, the next few days. Weekly flights between Kingston, Jamaica start in July 8th. This is to be increased to twice weekly with an additional service on Sunday from Barbados on Monday and Friday. Now, I don't want to promote Caribbean Airlines. I'm only noting this point to say that we being premature, not against travel. Everybody wants to travel. Everybody's anxious to travel, but we're also putting this in there and so on. All right, so that is taking place. In fact, I'm seeing on an international report the European Union to reopen borders, but probably not to Americans. So take note of that the situation in the U.S. is bad, is grim, and we be connected internationally. We're flying to New York, but we're going to be flying to Miami. And the fact is we're flying to New York too. Now, the fact is we're going to be exchanging with people who have not been here all the time, so I don't know that a quarantine would be required and so on. So it suggests, and that while there has been community spread in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is generally a fact, we could be open the COVID-19 over the next few days and weeks. So that is a matter for discussion. There's a note from Gavin Medera, the Chief Executive Officer of Caribbean Airlines. So that is a matter we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the Pandays and their party. And both of us, we made separate efforts to contact Kenwin Jones, right?
Yes, we did.
And I don't think he's ready yet.
He said he will speak when the party gives him the opportunity.
I want to make because the communication.
So I said, Kenwin, now is the time, to let people know you.
Yeah, I want to say to all the communications people and all the politicians, especially the communications people, because they're the ones who managing people's time. This is an election. Panday wants other candidates who are getting
Panday fighting every seat.
Right. You know what candidates we're dealing with at quick candidates, and as the media, we have a responsibility to hear everybody's story. How are you going to manage in terms of getting, especially if you are a little known candidate? More and more we're hearing about some candidates from some parties. Well, let's call the UNC as some candidates people know very little about, and yet they are not, these people are hearing. Now, what I understand from the communications people, they really don't want people they don't want to say that they don't want no power in this. But everything goes up to the lady, the lady said, the lady, so the lady
yes.
says so. So anyway, we are monitoring all the parties. So Annie, I know you have taken a note of this. In Couva, we are based at Couva.
Yes.
They have a lot of signs, not only the market, that's throughout the town, several parts of the town. So Anne did some investigation, came across the fact that the People's National Movement candidate for Couva South It's a gentleman named Rajendra Rampasad. Now, Rajendra Rampasad is a businessman in the community, and he has a plan for Couva South. And he has detailed it. We have literature from him. He says, let's work together to improve Couva South. Some of our plans include, and he talks about energy and industry, works, agriculture, security, community development. A number of bullet points, which we'll get to some today, and as we go on, we will talk about several things. He has plans, he says, for energy things, several points here. We will deal with that, but while that is happening, none of the other parties has announced a candidate. The seat is currently held by the United National Congress, and the incumbent is Mr. Rudy Indar Singh. But I was reading in the press today, Gail Alexander reporting in The Guardian that there may be others who are interested.
Who haven't even been chosen as yet.
Right. So, a word to the wise, we give them free advice, but, get into the public space, because this is a country in which people like to meet candidates. They like to shake your hand, and they like you to ask them for their vote. It is a feature of Trinidad and Tobago life. The life will change, but when we have the communications, people have to wait on the lady, or they have to wait on various people. Or when Kenwin Jones, who we want to talk to, but he has been an outstanding footballer. I'm a fan of him as a footballer. But he may have to jar up for space when the going gets tough, because I feel that Dr. Rowley would just give us the requisite 35 days and then call the election. How much exposure in any form of the media could candidates get then when everybody is jarring for public attention? So a free word of advice to everybody. These pay tribute to a fallen in the community of Caroni County Council. People like me would remember Vishnu Tikka Singh, who headed the council many years ago. So he has died at age 71. We pay tribute to him, and may his soul rest in peace. And we extend our condolences, I'm sure, on behalf of all listeners to his family. Right now, your calls have been coming in. It's 3:25, and we like to get your takes. So feel free. We just want to tell you in this hour, we want to talk to a gentleman who is involved in the Bar Owners Association. I'll get its correct name. We're going to talk to him and ask him on the government measure. We want to read for you what Vasan Barrett has said. We have a whole lot, but let's begin to talk to our callers. Good afternoon.
Mr. Ali, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
On a point of correction on your program.
Yes.
You said the people like to meet candidates and shake hands. There's no handshaking again.
Well, good point. They like to touch your elbow then.
They want the distance 6 feet apart.
Well, they wouldn't refuse the T-shirt,
You could throw them the T-shirt. They would take that.
All right, I'll comment that highly.
Yeah, thank you for correcting us. Yeah, you going? I thought you were. Yeah, they can't shake hands this time, but I seen people walking close by and think they put on their mask and so on. Insert with everybody. I see a lot of pictures on social media, but the gentleman is right, and do not breach the social distancing guidelines. We're not encouraging that at all. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Ali.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Ms. Juki
Hello.
Belmont. Welcome.
Yes, welcome to you.
Monday. However, I just called to ask one question. It's a long time I hear about the PCA. The Police Service Association. Now, Police Complaints
Authority.
Yeah, authority, sorry. I would like to know from you or anyone else, when last you ever hear them come up after all the investigation, the PCA, every time there is that one, people talk about advantage taken to the victim, to your PCA investigation. I never hear them come up with anything yet. I wonder what usefulness they do. Thank you very much.
Well, it's calls like that that make us the #1 show. Thank you very much. You started us off on a very high note, and you're right. We hear about all the work that just collapsed in this country, What they really do, and we hear about what they call extrajudicial killings. Extrajudicial killings when the police kill people, and that's just a fancy term for it. Now, they introduce a new term called police involved shooting. Again, now, we're not drawing a judgment on this, but there are pictures, I think it's videos, in which people had their hands in the air. I'm not defending them, they may have been bad boys, but and these investigations don't seem to yield any heard of a police officer being brought to justice as a result of a PCA involvement. Good afternoon.
Mr. Ali, good afternoon again.
Yeah, afternoon.
And to Ms. Duki, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I just hear you a little while ago say that the next office forecasted a bad weather.
Yeah, the Met people, yes.
But I'm wondering if water will take off the cover for over the dam.
Yeah.
There's no water.
Especially Navet.
Because I get the water bill, but no water. Am I to honor that bill?
Well, that's an ongoing issue.
But I'm only praying that they got the cover over the dam so you get some water.
I tell you, you're right about that. We continue to have these difficult. In fact, they're showing pictures of the tropical wave may arrive by Tuesday. And while all of that is happening, there are people who still don't have an adequate water supply. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken and Miss Ann.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. You know, several innocent citizens of this country have been raped, disfigured, murdered, you name it, how you want to, right? In some instances, it's old folks like me or older, right, have been robbed and gouged and you name it, man. You know, I have never seen the media taking this kind of stance on when the innocent victims of this country are being murdered and raped. I have never seen like this. So the police are not mad people. They don't go around. We don't have a mongoose gang here like Gary and Idi Amin Dada in Uganda or wherever it was something. We don't have that here. We have at least about 80% of the policemen in this country are good, law-abiding policemen. You could trust and depend on them. They must have a few rogues in any organization. I think these people, they always come on after the effect and say that their son was a good boy. But do they really know their children? I'm not speaking of Indian or African race or whatever. I'm speaking in general. You know, these guys go around with their pants, with their bottom showing, and you would see the aggression, how they walk, the way in which they walk. You would know whether they're on cocaine or not, or some marijuana substance. Mr. Belmont is our expert in that. He would know. If you see one pass around a corner, Mr. Belmont, don't show him the man. He would just, and he would know.
Good.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken. Good afternoon, Ms. Dookie.
Good afternoon.
I trust you're hearing me clearly.
You're very clear.
Okay. Ken, you know, the issue here is not whether or not the individuals were bandits. The issue here are what are the rules of engagement. And are the rules of engagement, which is universally acceptable, the better manner was practiced by the police with this incident. Now, I saw some things that had me very concerned. I saw that after the men were shot, the police moved their vehicle. I saw what appeared to me a policeman picking up shells. I saw bodies like sacks of potatoes being loaded in the back of a police jeep, which is like a trunk, one on top of the other, and then being sped off. Now, Ken, if I get shot and it appears that I'm alive, and you have to leave me where I am. If the ambulance coming tomorrow, I will wait on them.
With you, I agree with your analysis for sure.
So
those are my thoughts
too. The idea is simply this. The question is, did the police employ best practice in what they did?
Yeah. Yes.
And when you see an individual hands in the air and he by the police car, I do not know how he got back into his car to go to not only to get back into his car, but to go to pick up a gun to come back outside when you already had him hands in the air. There are several questions to be answered with respect to this. And I have called on Commissioner Gary Griffith to take that video and send it to his very good friend Bill Bratton. And let Bill Bratton give us an unvarnished opinion on what he has seen. Because, Ken, let me say this to you, Ken. You could have been driving down the road with two of your friends now coming from a river line. And the police pull you aside. And the next thing you know, they say Ken put up his hand in the air. But next thing you know, Ken went back in the cabinet and everybody's dead. You see, the point I want to tell everybody is that you put yourself in that position. And if it is that you are saying that the police was right, I want to ask you this question. If that was your brother, you want them to bundle him in the back of a car like a sack of potatoes?
Eric, I agree with your analysis.
And take him to the hospital?
Yeah, I agree. I will give some other thoughts after. But thanks, Eric. Before we take this call, let me just. All right. Okay. Caller, please call us back. I agree with that. And listen, the first thing is this country is a lot of lawlessness, so people are not seeing arrests and people are not seeing a curbing of the crime. But we have to be cautious in our thirst for justice and for a reduction in crime, that we do not lead to anarchy, which is the other side. Right? So these guys may have been bad boys, protection of the law, like everybody else. So I am strong on that view. The initial point we were making, I don't know if this reason, Eric. Caller, just hold 1 second, please. I am saying that we do not see the involvement of the police complaints authority enough, and that's a point Mr. Belmont made, which I also endorse. Good
afternoon, Mr. Ali. Good afternoon, Anne.
Hello.
When the UNC was a bill to the Parliament for soldiers and police to work together, the PNM said soldiers were trained to kill. That wouldn't work. Yet, some years after, the same PNM went and bring a Sandhurst trained soldier who was trained to kill and make him commissioner of police. So how is it going to work? Is it good for one and bad for the next? This man was trained to kill. That's why they use words like
one kill.
One kill.
Yeah.
That is why he was trained for that. You could ask Rafik Shah. He's a Sandhurst man too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And he could tell you that this fella, Griffith, was not trained to be a police officer. Not in 5 minutes. They just appoint him there because everything was planned and for Gibbs and them. But it passed for this fella. So he there to do a job for certain people. So Eric, a spoonful of thought or ocean of explanation, no, it didn't work. Now I want to tell you something. You'll watch the Parliament.
The Speaker and the
Prime
Minister and so on? Yes.
You see how the Prime Minister defend. Ken, you go remember when the Patrick Manning was in power, and we asked, she was Attorney General, and he said George. And Patrick asked her as Prime Minister to do an investigation and keep Rowley and the $10 million and the land aid. And she said no. She refused and she was fired for that.
Okay.
Is this payment back for helping Keith then and he helping she back now? And it has nothing to do with emotion?
Right. Okay.
And I'm going to call too much time. Yeah. Friday I hear a lot of people call about Pandey. Ken and Ann, regardless if you love the man or if you hate him, what the history put on there, nobody can change it. There's a fella named Errol Fabian. There's a woman from this fella named Errol Fabian. There's a whole 3 hours of the man's whole life on running on Channel 4.
Well, I know the Pandey story of service. I've covered it as a
watch it, lady. And even if you're going to hate Pandey, and he didn't walk out of NER. He was fired because, can you remember the agreement?
I remember that. Very good.
Let him go and find out. Let him watch the film and you go see it.
Thank you. There's a few points he was making coming out of that I wanted to talk about. It slips me now, but one is about the police matter. Well, I feel strong on that matter. The point slips me. I'll come back to that, but thanks for those views. Let's hear this caller. Good afternoon to you.
The fellas that they say the police shoot. These fellas are a good boy, bad boy, what kind of fellas?
Well, nobody knows what kind of boys they are, but the police and arrest them.
Police ain't going to shoot them. What about the police when they kill anybody talking about even?
No, that's another matter. That one doesn't negate the other. Listen, any time and we justify police killing people, whether there's bad boys or not, we're going down a slippery slope. I'm saying that very clearly to all of us. Because this is what Eric says is correct.
I understand what you're saying, but then same fellas, when they board your house.
Well, there's a police commissioner, and all the police commissioners are not solving crime. 90% of crime unsolved, and that's a fact. But they cannot go through. I know people who want to kill me for that, but let's get this caller. But
nobody wouldn't kill you for that, Mr. Ali, because what you're saying is true. You understand? You just can't just shoot people just so, my brother.
You can't.
You understand? They're right. What you're saying there?
Country of law and order.
Yes, of course. You cannot encourage that because you know what happened here? You know what happened here, Mr. Ali?
Afternoon.
And good afternoon to Ken.
Yeah,
afternoon. You understand?
Yeah.
And you were making a point earlier on concerning the bar people them.
Yes.
So why is it one man one person or two person. You understand like me? In the bus
Right,
route.
right,
You understand? You in the bus route. And if somebody now, you know, they go charge everybody who in the bus route.
Well, it will
charge the
it
man
will
who
ban
breaking
driving
the
on the
law.
bus route.
Yes, you charge the man who breaking the law.
I thought so.
You understand?
Yeah.
And you deal with them and you set an example. You understand? Now, I want to ask you something also. I was driving in San Grande yesterday, right? And, you know, boy, elderly person sit down drinking and liming. You understand? I want to gentleman on one table. You understand? And the police right there, the police need to come out and do the job. You understand? Now, to tell you now about Mr. Pandey, I don't really want to bash Mr. Pandey plenty here because I learned from him. I was together with him. You understand? But in the bigger picture, Mr. Ali, the country is for them to save this country from this corrupt PNM. You understand? I hear the finance minister talking on Sunday, on Saturday, wherever it might be, right? How much money they getting in interest and going around. I mean, come on. You're borrowing money, you're taking money, what are you doing? You understand? I'll call back.
All
my
right,
friend.
thank you. We understand. Now, we are hearing that there are some protests in the area of Morva Junction, where you are looking to head that way, Lady Young Road and so on. Just be very cautious. We'll give you more information as we have in the Morva Junction, some protests. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ali, and to the lady.
Afternoon.
Triple D.
Yes.
Tell me something. A secret contractor have any right to tell a worker to come
Oh, but you know, we know what happens on the ground. I know what.
My nephew is working with a contractor.
Be careful how you identify because you end up losing his work. No, it's true. It happening. They go fire him. Go ahead.
The contractor telling the workers you have to come out after they come in.
And distribute Jazzy, as Sprangalang would say.
You understand? They have to assemble by Marcy store, that bamboo junction there.
Tell you to identify the place.
Yeah,
You know, they go fire the fella, you know. Yeah.
Can you get a jersey?
Oh, we got Jazzy. And the Jazzy does have a little money in it too, you know.
Yeah.
They want all the workers who working within the San Fernando West to assemble
They
there.
do that, yes. That's an abuse. That is true. And they call you out to meetings and so on. It's an abuse of CPF workers.
You told me that this morning.
Yeah, and
I
your
told
RP
the
workers.
brother to go because he said the contractor said they will fire them.
Yes.
So he's looking for a
And
job.
they will fire him.
Yes, they have the authority.
Thanks for publicizing that, and you are absolutely correct in what you said. Now, before we go on with the calls, I want to say this, which I wanted to say. This is something that upsets me a lot today. I ain't calling the name of the place, but there is a alignment place, a eating place, a restaurant on the top of Marval Road. Everybody know that place. Somebody went there, and they have the bill, you seen the bill on social media, and dine. And then when the bill came, they charge him 2.5% more. You know what? It says on the right. We have added a small 2.5% service charge. This is to offset the PPE and health protocol costs. PPE is personal protective equipment. So in other words, they have inflicted upon you the cost of them doing business as if you go by the doubles, man. How much were doubles? $5?
Yeah.
And the fella said, listen, I charge you $6. I have to buy
You
a
have to
mask.
pay for hand
I have to buy
sanitizer.
gloves. I have to buy hand sanitizer. I have to bring water. What madness is this? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken. This is thinking outside the box. When those persons finished dining, they forgot something inside there, you know. The 2.5%. They're supposed to act for the PPE to move out with it.
Yeah.
Hand
That is
sanitizer, everything. If you're paying a $700 bill, that's at 2% and plenty.
Yeah,
That's equivalent for a whole bottle of sanitizer.
You saw the bill?
Yeah, I saw it on
$726.
Yeah,
And no,
this-
I ain't
this
want to
supposed
comment
to
on the
act
cost of
with-
the food. I find it very expensive. But go ahead.
Right. I wonder with this police issue. The guy who got shot early o'clock in the morning, he was a recent recruit from GEB apparently,
That
right?
is true, yes.
All right. When we saw the man with the hands up and all the police around him, and the majority of them was from the GEB.
Got an emergency.
Right. Now, when the GEB was preparing to go outside on this mission, what was the intention? Was it vengeance? Or you understand where I'm coming from? Because the majority of GGs, so you responding to your colleague. How were you responding to your colleague? Were you responding to your colleague in a particular manner to serve justice? or you were responding for vengeance. It's one of we boys the lick up, so we coming back for
Yes.
who we perceive to
Yeah.
be the culprit.
Now, having said that, I want in the interest of balance to say that
Right.
the commissioner said one was not connected with the other. I just reported.
No, I'm just trying to connect it, I'm not saying I connected it up.
No, you may be right, but I'm just also quoting the commissioner.
Right.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, the commissioner said it well. This is one of the few instances. I have to think he was kind of measured in what he was saying.
Mhm.
So he didn't come out to kill because a lot of shells were around the place.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
understand it? So it's now one shot, one kill. Because if it was one shot, one kill, was only would have been 3 shots or 4. If the fella fired a shot at them, that is a shot, and then 3 shots for the 3 individuals. So that is the metrics in it. So let's see what come out about it. And they should have, the commissioner should appoint an independent investigator.
No, the police complaints authority will investigate. It ought to be independent. But you know,
Okay,
as
well, I
Mr.
put in a
Belmont
big
said,
question
we
mark
never
about
get a
that,
report. Go ahead.
I am putting a big question mark on the PCA.
Yeah, well, so am I.
Investigating a lot of things and nothing comes out
No,
of it.
well, that's the point Mr. Belmont made at the start of the program.
You
Nothing
understand what
comes
I'm
out
saying?
of it.
Because I think it's like we putting pressure on the commissioner, telling me he want to report on the Hackshaw fella.
Yes, yeah, and he's right.
So,
Yeah,
so,
the
so,
DPP
so,
deserves credit for that.
all of these things are mounting up on Gigi's back. I wonder if he's strong enough.
Well, no, yeah,
Because he was pulled to the top of the class,
yes, well, it goes with the job.
All
It
right.
goes with the job. You apply for the work,
Nice. Did you sure you applied for it?
So, well, yeah.
We'll give it,
Nah,
Just show me that you're interested.
He came here and he spent 2 hours with Hannah and I in a long interview, must be more than that. And he hankered after the job. Not so, Hannah?
Yes.
Long interview and say he want the work. Yeah.
No, well, he wanted to go to court to get the work too.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Thank you. Okay. Now, we had lined up an interview with Tehran Mohan. We'll do it after 4 p.m. He's here at the association. We want to get his take on this afternoon.
Mr. Ali,
Yes, sir.
you know, sometimes the authorities think they'll be talking to fools or stupid people. Now, hear this. You don't have to be the commissioner of police to ask this question. You can be just a supervisor who sent out these men. When they come and tell me what happened, I will ask the question. If 3 men in a vehicle, you put up their hand and one went back in the car and pick up a pistol to fight 12 policemen, 3 vehicles, 4 of them.
Member of Parliament for Mayar Tika Singh, who was 71 years old, has left behind his wife, children. In regional news, the United Nations Resident Coordinator to Guyana said that there is need for an elected government and parliament to Islamic organizational mandate and to declare
for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, super quality supermarket, and quality cash and carry supermarket.
Hurry to 3C Tool Rentals, number 77 Bonaventure Road, Gasparillo, for your business and personal tool and rental needs. Available for rent: coring machines, compactors, concrete vibrators, demolition hammers, drills, saws, scarifiers, pressure washers, generators, welding units, trash pumps, hydrostatic test pumps, and so much more. We offer free transport in and around Gasparillo and at very competitive prices. Visit or call us at 650-2362 or 789-4581 for more information.
Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk this Monday, 29th June from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy. Feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, this Monday, 29th June for Talk Your Talk.
412 in Trinidad and Tobago. Thanks for the 4 p.m. newscast from Aruna and others in the newsroom. Now, as we headed to the 4 p.m. newscast, I told you about something that's taken place in St. Kitts, Nevis, that may have some parallels in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to note that. Now, that's on June 5th, the people of St. Kitts, Nevis, which are two small islands, and they're twin island state like Trinidad and Tobago, they held the general election, at which St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party lost to the incumbent. The opposition has filed some action in the court, claiming government resources were used to bribe persons to vote through the distribution of hundreds of lots of government land, 350 of which were handed out in the last 2 weeks before the election, and so on and so forth. They said there was gifts of land, some of them illegal, and so on, were given out, and so on and so forth. There were reported instances where food, money, drinks, appliances, furniture, and entertainment were given in exchange for constituencies. And there were reported instances where persons received cash vouchers for food before or on cases of voters who were added to the poverty alleviation program and reportedly received retroactive lump sum payments in exchange for their votes, and so on and so forth. And here's another one. Part of what they did is they closed the elections offices on a few days before the court, made it impossible for any of the opposition candidates, or representatives and voters themselves to challenge the list. All right, so that's a separate part. Part here pertains to the fact that there's an allegation of a lot of gifts being given out by the government or its representatives to win votes. In Trinidad and Tobago, we've had $6 billion kinds of stuff. People who are not elected representatives, local government and other representatives being given a lot of gifts to give people. Now, I'm being surprised and disappointed the opposition has not taken up this matter. We raised it yesterday with Jerlene John, but I think she was busy preparing food. I think they are ignoring this important matter that would have an impact on election day. Just a word to the wise. Let's get back to the calls. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes.
Belmont again. Just now I'll crave indulgence for what you're speaking about. But just to dress up the points that went on before. Do you know that the Commissioner of Police was asked to send the files on Mr. Hackshaw to the DPP? The Commissioner of Police said, look, I wouldn't send it until I get the PCA report. But this DPP is a very experienced senior counselor. His father was a very experienced senior counselor. You know what did the DPP say? No, don't wait on no PCA. Send me the files right away. He knows that when it goes to the PCA, it is put in a refrigerator. Thank you very much. Yeah. Later we'll talk on this giveaway.
All right, thank you. Yes. Well, and you see, that says a tremendous lot of the lack of faith in an important national and independent
program. You see, when matters, I'm going to call no name and pinpoint anybody, but when certain matters go to certain people's death, right, it fall asleep. Mr. Ali, how long the landed matter on the DPP death?
Almost a lifetime.
Oh, well, you see, and there was a technical point that delayed the proceeding and sent it to a different level, you know. You know, it wasn't that Mr. X was the accusation or not, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
You know? So this is what I've been telling you. And it goes back to the point that the old boss, you know, comrade that he is, the only one of his statement stands out like a stallion. Constitutional reform in this country. You follow? So that these guys in specific offices, they cannot do what they are doing at present. They would have, you know, they would constitute the laws as such that would make them accountable, and that is the key word, accountable.
I would like to see how they'll be if we're going to deal with the same people. But maybe the constitutional reform would permit that, because all our institutions, or what about the Integrity Commission, the judiciary, they're all broken down. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kenali and Ms. Anduki. I'm calling from Ragunan Road.
Yeah, how are you?
performance today, I think I can smile a little bit.
Oh, you have some good news for us.
I listened to the press conference.
Right.
And I'm very happy to say that, Minister Stuart Young said in the press conference there are three categories of nationals they're giving the exemption to. Those in a cruise ship, those in Cuba, and the students who are in India.
Pandit, before you go on, there would always be listeners who don't have a backdrop to this story. So just let me, for those listeners' sake, tell them what you're talking about. Your child and others, your daughter and others, have been in India awaiting the right for several months because of COVID-19. Now the government has finally said that they could come in. Now pick up the story and continue from there, please.
Yes, well, you're correct so far. What I wasn't clear about, and this is what I want to talk on your program, because you've been empathizing with us and supporting us, is that he said a student from India, but the fact of the matter is there are 28 people in all in India. A little confusing that the exemptions will be given to the students when I would have thought that all that group and all the groundwork was done, right? Like the flight, the British Airways flight from India to Caribbean areas to Barbados and so on. I just hope and trust that what he means is the 28 students, not students, but all of those who are in India. And I want to let the parents of those people who are in India and elsewhere know that we as parents also, we know that they are suffering no lesser than us, and that we empathize and we hope and pray that it's now that a window of opportunity is open, and that all of those, we truly and genuinely empathize with all our citizens and residents who are out there. So I just want to make that clear, and I'm hoping that there's a flight which can accommodate the students, all the citizens from India. I'm told one of those is a son of Yassin Abu Bakr also.
Now, when they travel from India, they travel to where?
London.
To London, right. And
let me also state, Ken, that Mr. Orville London, who incidentally also is the High Commissioner to the UK.
Yes.
He has been very supportive. He has been, he's been very accommodative to all. Thank him very sincerely for that. So that with this flight is good, when it goes to London, then I'm also told, which I'm very encouraged, that they have to be quarantined in London, but it will be, leave there to come to Barbados. Barbados is going to open their borders on the 12th of July. So if everything goes well, we can hopefully see an end of this whole this situation here.
yes, well, that's very good news. We are very, very happy. And hopefully, like you said, within 2-3 weeks, your daughter and the others could be home.
So, and let me also hasten to repeat myself. Ken, you've always given us, well, I've been calling, right, on behalf of the parents. You've given us a listening ear and support, and
we're part of all of it. We want to see everything go well. Thank you, Pandit, and keep us informed.
Okay,
thank you very much. Okay, so that's very good news. We're glad that the government has made that announcement, and we want to see all Trinidad nationals.
Also congratulate Mr. Eric because he talk a little better than what I expected.
Take my cough.
He talk a little better than
a little better than expected.
Something going on, something going on. That's me feeling real good.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Ali.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
The caller always call and saying that our Mr. Cesar say that about this job and too. He said, no, she wanted it done. Carolyn Booker get it done and it's solely. I want him to listen to Mr. Nelson Marad when he is on the program.
Yes.
He could hear about 4,000 Carolyn workers still doesn't receive their land at all. Nothing just give out some, Mr. Cesar just give out some, and she, according to Mr. Nelson Marad, she took away 7 sides for Carolyn workers and have it for land rent. So that if that was a problem, people can't get the land because she take away that. So he feel that, yes, so he feel that, and saying the people stole the land. Mr. Ali, they have no infrastructure in that land. No road, no water. Nothing like that. It's in the bush. They cannot do it. So if up to you, I don't know, probably sold it. If because they can't do a finance to do their job on the land. They cannot have no access to the land. And it's about 4,000 people. I have relative and I know people still waiting and they get the land. So they feel now, can we well get them to. Now the people who really come out with, like, you know, like management and like, you know, staff and the official staff. But the people, the laborers are not able to get no good package. So when we feel I'm talking about carrying workers, how for so many years, here talking about there no water and they're taking battery and wire and running up to the pole and getting trainers. Carrying workers work hard and they're still waiting up to this in 2003. So it's not a mistake. So come and Mr. Manning gives them the best. Let him know that.
Yeah, and thank you, and yes, and you're absolutely right. I endorse what you're saying. There's a view by some people that the ex-Caroni workers all got a lot of land with infrastructure and so on and so forth. That is not exactly true. And they run Marad on going basis. Thank you for reminding us of all of that. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ken.
Yes.
Good afternoon, you and your host. But Ken, can I drive into the Maraval from the Martin over the hills?
Right.
Maraval. You know, what I'm seeing is that whole even the
paving
area, paving, yeah.
Well, you know, there's a sign of election.
When I look at Central, we have so much of bad roads. I cannot see looking Waterloo Road, they can have to fix the whole day. It's still there like they say you have to stop to because of that. But I mean to say, we know election is there, we know they're going to do what if you want to be fair with the country.
Yeah, well, even the paving is discriminatory.
That's right.
Even the paving exercise.
And are you aware that there's a protest going on in Mobile?
Yes, yeah, we've spoken about it. Where are you exactly?
I just came over the Maraval area to contact you. I don't want to take the photos.
Oh, all right, okay. You have told us what you saw. Yes, there is that protest.
The protest is heading east.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good people.
Good afternoon.
At the Living Fathers. I want to go back to Friday a little bit, if you don't mind. Now, Friday had a very interesting scenario with this vote of no confidence in the speaker. The censoring of the speaker, right?
Yes.
Now, it is obvious that the PNM would have won the vote. But what is not obvious is that 3 members of the UNC were not there to say yea or nay to their colleague. That to me is not teamwork.
And those 3 opposition leader?
Yes, from the information, included the opposition leader. The only man who get away is Para going out here.
Who? Yeah.
Barry Padarat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but the
There
opposition
were
leader
another
was
3 people.
noticeably absent.
Now, what would have made it interesting, Ken, I would have won because the deputy speaker is the member for Tanapuna. And obviously he would not have voted against this party. I've seen us 17-17, and then he had to do the casting vote.
Why 17-17? You mean there's
No,
some...
because...
Yes, because...
17 voted for.
Right, indeed, you're correct. Yes. Good. The PNM also didn't have a full house.
Right. So both parties were missing people. But it would have told us, look, you know, it would have been closer than it happened.
Yeah. What has happened with the PNM since they have replaced several of their candidates? I counted at least 9 are not coming really to Parliament often.
Yeah, but I mean, people like us, they wasn't inside.
Right, but some others are not, like Marlene MacDonald has not. Several others, about 9 to replace, huh?
Yeah, you know. But the thing is that the UNC, particularly, it brings back memories of 2015. When and you were not there to hold hands with your people, came out, even though, you know, and you were not there. And it says, to my mind, Ken, I mean, the lady did some good work while she was in office. But the quality of leadership within the UNC, in this present scenario, leaves a lot to be desired. Thank you very much.
And that's it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yes. Well, it's a fact that the opposition leader was not at the sitting on Friday. The analysis outside of that is up to you. Whatever points of view you have, you could read it anyway. Now it's 4:29. Okay, I wanted to give you a little programming note, but I'll do it after.
Even Mr. Canary, even Ms. Anduki, even
Afternoon.
Right, Mr. Canary, I run into the Express of the Thursday the 25th, and I've seen an article here where a couple of bad from the academy have made little comments concerning the operations in the police service. And I know I'd like to know that you go back on the article and check it at the page 3 of the Express 25th, Thursday 25th. And I wanted to know in what ways, from what I read, the comments wasn't really anyway derogatory, anyway breaking any law. How you could be debarred from entering the
Yep, but I think there was a change on that decision. I'll go back on that matter. You want to talk about that? Okay, I'll research that. Okay, we talk about that. All right, thanks. Good afternoon. We lost you. 636-7547, 227-5739. Good afternoon to you.
Sorry to come back in, Ken.
Yeah.
If people like C and company who have been screened and have been approved, if they're still being paid from the substantive
I would think so.
while they campaign.
In fact, somebody tells me that the PNM candidate for one of the seats on the corridor is the legal officer of one of the ministries. And he is, I imagine, still not only, well, he's been paid, even though I doubt he would be on the job, he may be campaigning. At least Gypsy is the chairman of the NCC, which is not necessarily a full-time job. You expect to be a full-time job, and apparently he's still being paid, we hear.
I think, if my memory serves me right, Ken, I think there was one fella in Tobago who I knew was working in a particular media house in the very early days, and within 2 days of losing the election in Tobago against the GAC component, he was back on the job.
Okay.
Right? I ain't gonna call him name. You know, that's how history will be. Because you're guaranteed if your party win the election, lose the election, you might get back a job. But I think to be fair to anybody, because the Rambali guy from Felicity or thereabout, who is, I understand his last day on the job at Central Broadcasting Services was Friday.
Well, and even that as a privately owned, he could remain there.
Owned.
Yeah, that's a different
The
thing.
morality is that, look, you realize that you've been selected.
Right.
Your boss and you agree that, look, you can't kill two birds with one stone in this current scenario. So we have to give you time off to do what you have to do. So I wonder how many people on the PNM side, given treated in the same kind of manner, where you're campaigning, but you can't see you in your office, you know. We ain't going to see them in the office.
And they continue to be paid, like that legal officer of the Ministry of Works, I understand.
Good afternoon, Ken. Good afternoon, Ann.
Good afternoon.
Ken, one thing that we are good at in this country is that we could interpret every single thing about somebody once they're not present. The Prime Minister, the opposition leader wasn't in Parliament, but everybody could interpret that she is not there because of a certain situation on our own personal, to make some sort of conflict or confusion or some bacchanal. That's what we're good at. But every single thing that is factual, that is being done to the population, nobody doesn't say nothing. They're quiet about that. But the things that they know that there's things about it. But then the situation I call to talk about is this police killing that is taking place in this country. Now, if somebody shoots and kills 100 people in this country, and he's not caught, and he's not brought to justice, and prove that how this person was responsible for all these killings, and if the police now have information and confront somebody in a situation where they are sure, and he draw arms to the police and they shoot him and kill him and thing, that is justified. But if somebody kills 100 people, and by just their speculation that shoot this person without any sort of evidence, evidence confrontation on it. Let me say just like a murder that take place, and the police isn't brought into question and isn't brought to be treated in a way that how they are made accountable. People have to be very careful that in this situation now, we have now, without the channel that it's supposed to take place, we now have labeled and we have licensed 7,000 more murderers in this country, because it might be somebody who kills and get away with it, and the police find reason to execute this person and things. But then now, and if they are not brought to justice and they are not being made to account for it, then a police could walk up now and feel that they are without being accountable for it. So although the people with the killing and thing might be notorious gangsters and things, there are laws and there are procedures that are supposed to be handled to make every citizen in this country feel safe. That's exactly what happened with this Floyd fella. Now, he might be one bandit, he might be a criminal or whatever, but you cannot kill somebody in that matter, in that manner, and not be accountable. One thing, and it is a bit alarming.
It is quite alarming.
Yeah, and to know that now we could come up with excuse to say, well, them fellas was bandits and this and that and thing. If it is, let me say, olive and a little lime or some kind of thing, and a police jeep pull up and decide that, hey, here what, I could draw my revolver and shoot somebody without any reason, and then be protected by the commissioner or the some legal aspect that they...
In that point since 3 p.m. It is not acceptable, and that's a road to...
Yeah, we had to know where we are in this country and where we're going to, and if we don't get these things right, all the citizens right now in this country could be at risk. We have to be very, very careful.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good
much.
afternoon. Take care.
Yeah, well, it's the same point we're making. We have looked at the video also. Now, I'm not quite sure what time of the day today the video was shot. It's not a live video, but it does show people throwing items onto this damage, but it shows some measure of lawlessness. Good afternoon to you.
Mr. Ali, may I have a minute, please? Mr. Ali, I hear my friend from Sawa talking about Wassa. Wassa was paying, they were spending millions of dollars, and the people wasn't getting water in certain areas for years. You understand? And Kamla Prasad business and the people's partnership. So, you understand? You understand? I think everything was getting good. You understand? If you passed in the beatum, thank God for the dry season. It's dry and you could see the water plant that was building there. You understand? So you're talking about the man who got with $400 million. You understand? But here, Sadin, how much thing the man do? We talk about $20 billion. Where the money gone? Ask the leader where the money gone. You understand? $20 billion. You understand? So don't come and talk about Kamla them. You understand? They was improving the life for everyone, PNM, UNC, everybody. You understand? So when you pick a chair, my brother, look for the right one now. It's African the green one, my brother. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. 20 minutes to the hour of 5 p.m. I just wanted to give you a little programming note. As you know, our friend and colleague Mukesh Baburam is on from 6 p.m. From today. So, of course, great music, great more after this call. Good afternoon to you. Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, Mr. Ali, Belmont again. Now, I agree with the caller before the last. He have it right. But I would like to add something to that. If my relative is shot by the police, I should have a chance to say justice is done. Those ladies who are the mothers or the wives of these victims, they're crying for justice. But the only bureau, the homicide division of the police, kick in. When a man is shot by the police, the homicide bureau should step in. Not the commissioner of police saying one shot, one man dead, one dead. No. He was not there. You investigate the detectives, and the victim family should be allowed a legal aid lawyer to be among the investigating team, or if they can pay a lawyer to come forward to go through with the investigation. There is no other way I will accept if the only will operate, because I put my trust in them because they are investigating murders right through.
Okay.
Right, that is as far as that is concerned.
All right. Thank you.
You know, to talk about this giveaway thing, using the public money for votes. There are two things. Mrs. Ford is take the money from the stabilization fund and so on. They give us $5 billion. They say from national security, so that money can be used to help with crime. So then they get money from the stabilization fund and they give her so many billions of dollars. Two things wrong with that. If you see this Hampers business, the Prince Balizé on the bar, the Prince Balizé, expensive print to give out these sort of hampers and so on. Listen to the salient point. When they started the giveaway, she asked for your ID card, no other document. When you make your application, you must have your ID card. I talk about it, and they change it to another document. But the reason why is the ID card, identification document, let's have your voter number on it for the voters list. The first four is the year that you're born, the date you was born, and the month you was born. The other 3 or 4 numbers are your voter's number on the ID card, and that is in the binder. So when you go to vote, voters list, and they can see your response when canvassers went to you, whether yes, no, whether no, I'm UNC, so that they could investigate you and hand it out according to your voting preference. And it is dishonest, very dishonest, and that should be investigated.
Could make a difference on election day. I say it again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken. The killing by police is just one thing that we should be looking at. We do have to recreate the wheel. You look at first world countries, every police service, police force has an internal affairs unit. All things that have to do with police behavior. And they have the authority to question anybody, do the reports, make the recommendation, and remove the policemen, and even prosecute and put them in court and put them in jail. We are not doing things that everybody do the right way, but that is something we copy everybody.
That does not work too, the Internal Affairs Division. That too does not work. Gary, tell us otherwise. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Ken, me again. Someone inquired a while ago about whether the leader of the opposition was in Parliament on Friday.
On Friday.
I just want to confirm that she was right. They had advertised that, come and join a peaceful protest, and one of the issues was, repatriation of Trinidad National. All right. The group was very small. I thought they might have organized better. However, not surprisingly, there were 15 people there. There were 35 policemen. Yes. And one last, let me, if you want to see what real democracy and equality is, one should have been there. None of the PNM Parliament not come when we invited them respectfully to come and talk to us. It is not one. The rest, they just bent their head. We went into the Prado. And they fancy vehicles and drove off. And let me say, with some level of satisfaction, Dr. Fuad Khan, Dr. Bhupendranath Tiwari, Rujanath Inder Singh, that Ramdial girl,
Ramona Ramdial.
Prakash Ramadar, they all came and listened to what we had to say, and they gave encouragement and so on. So what prevented, not one of them, Gerald Hines and after them, and people, we were like a nobody to them, you understand? And it's not surprising to me, it's not surprising, but tell me, man, you've gone inside the Red House, the House of Parliament, where the taxpayers are paying you there, for you to be there, giving you tax-free or whatever, not tax-free, but vehicles and so on, so much a perks you have. And you have the simple decency to come and talk to the people, the taxpayers who are paying you, man. It was not disturbing for me, it was expected, but one should have been there to see the attitude of these guys. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And and you'll see them and our politicians generally coming and knocking at your door and showing interest and so on. So one time, and it's a fascinating time, every 5 years, the politicians show so much interest in our welfare. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Kennedy. What that guy said there just now, I mean, at this point in time, I hear that people listening, I mean, from what he saying here, claiming it was a peaceful thing, wasn't no I'd have had a listen, just a little papi should have I mean, if at this point in time, papi should, when you're papi should, and it just goes to show, I mean, they had a program and they had voters to a third force. What I was saying is, they consider UNC and PNM ketchup and mustard. So they say, well, let's put ketchup and mustard, you want to eat something. That kind of joke, but I know that people like, when they were calling, everybody was like, there was nobody third force, but if I asked about
I want to ask you a question. What are your thoughts on the Pandays party, the Patriotic Front?
Well, at the end of the day, as I said already, the last 2 elections gone by, they had a leaning towards the UNC in the first election and the PNM in the last election. But right now, we don't have any kind of leaning in it because everybody kind of like didn't the expectancy was eroded front. But I thinking, I don't know if an independent may stand a better chance at some of these seats or a general party. I can't say, I left the people to decide. Let's say people to decide. Because I mean, all of us are just carry one, but generally we need, as a body of people in China, we need to come to a decision and decide where we're going. But what I want to say is that if we could have had at least 2 or 3 seats outside of the two, whichever party win, with that not part of them, it would have a better attention in the parliament or a better response. But having it with one side getting a majority by the other, I want to take care and just do what the because I mean, I will consider the constituency of the Mr. Ali. Look at the constituency of 41 children you have. At the end of the day, it's always about divided equally according to what it is by to the most needy and the most to the just roads and what it is. But it don't happen like that. Your fine is like they do what they do and we the people just have our only power is to unite together. But we are doing that. We just divide ourselves and they're running chores.
Yes, thank you. They say democracy is once every 5 years, 5 minutes in a polling booth. And as was happening again, get to elect our, put our politicians in parliament. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kennedy.
Good afternoon.
I don't know who said me practice party Trinidad. I wonder if Mr. Bartley Panday. I wonder if this party is the fourth party. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, maybe he did say that. We must research whether he said so. But of course, being a good politician, he'll justify the position he has taken. Now, good afternoon.
Mr. Ali.
Yes.
Ask me the question about Panday. I will tell you. I will tell you because I will tell you something. Panday role is for the UN done to separate the vote and lose the election, and then they go to big sense out of nonsense. You understand? That is his mantra. So it plainly shows exactly what Panday said at time. He said easier to stay in opposition than government. You understand? And he was carrying his supporters all the time in opposition. You understand? And that is how Panday operates. You understand? And I tell you before, Panday when he give us something and you want it back and you ain't giving me a look at the name. And then a man like Eric say, Panday must be careful who he breaking bread with, who wash his mouth on Kid Rowley when Manning had a problem with him. And today he have up Kid Rowley. But I am not so, my brother, because when the movement for change, when I ask for Panday to remove, I see the light, my brother. And in the end of the day, Panday have what? We have an agenda. And this agenda is not nice for this country, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, the closing of these bars at 8 o'clock. By the way, continue to call us. We go until 6 and Mukesh Baburam is on at 6. But the closing of the bars at 8 o'clock, Vasan Baran making the point, I see somebody else, the COVID-19 get harmful after 8 o'clock, before 8 o'clock COVID-19.
It's okay.
What is the logic, what is the science behind it? Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mr. Ali.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon again, Anne.
Hello.
And listeners. Mr. Ali, I find the people at the bars was overdoing it. Because when I went up Arima, next to the pharmacy, there was a bar. Mr. Ali, if you had seen the crowd outside and how thick they were, had on any mask. And you know in bars how men like to speak loud. They were extremely close to each other. So when it is, you know, they have to close at 8 o'clock, they look for that. Because you remember when they were saying, allow them to at least have the takeaway, so they could still have the takeaway, go home and have the nice drink, the soft drink, the hard drink, or what kind of drink, Mr. Ali. But some of them just like to go out and it's a have a man used to call Longer, the man from the Ram Shop talk. I don't know if you could remember that. So, and at times, Mr. Ali, I'm a parent, and as a single parent, my husband was not around after a while. And
Are you there?
We lost.
We lost you. Call us back. We're heading to the 5 p.m. hour. Call us back. We want to hear the story. Now, the point of... Oh, let's hear this caller because I'll read.
Mr. Ken.
Yes. Oh, your boy is coming on in just over an hour.
No problem.
I could imagine. She make a hot drink, turn up the radio, and she fold her arms, cross her leg, and say, waiting on
Mukesh.
All right. Go ahead. We just
Mr. Ken Ali.
Yes.
Pandey want to contribution. That's what you want to do, you know.
Uh-huh.
That's what you want to cut up the vote.
You want to split the votes?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, yeah.
Okay.
Listen. You listening?
Yeah, very well.
Big people like me and you, they don't have an mask. When the driver say put on a mask, they don't listen at all. There's kind of people do the car and they come outside without the mask. You say that's a start for them there. Yeah, man. Yeah. You ever see more?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Interesting. She is right. I mean, this thing is quite irregular. But what I find odd, is the fact that after 8 o'clock, COVID could spread, but 7:30 is okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon.
Again, Bataria to create the 50,000 jobs. I want to tell you, but you don't know anything at all about business. Please condemn. You live wherever you live in and go and get a house in Bataria. That's all you're good for. But to build one, you wouldn't know how to start to do that. Because I will tell you something. The last, in 2010, your boss now was a opposition leader, tells you the same thing. And everybody could vouch. Everything she promised, she did it and more. So if I go to tell you, you wouldn't understand nothing about business. You know, all you could say, a man take $400 and go on in the Bahamas or wherever. You have no evidence. Somebody tell you to say that and you're saying it. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you. Okay. PM, of course. We go until 6 p.m. Mukesh comes in at 6 p.m. and you want to be in his audience. I tell you, Ann and I would be listening for sure. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Ali. Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Ali, we as parents have to find ways to find out when our children doing wrong. None of our children is perfect, Mr. Ali. And when you see they go out with their friends, they try to do many other things. And we as parents, but I don't know for now, because the children have grown up. But you have to find ways in order to find out what your children do at school, talk to other children, and you will not find out everything, Mr. Ali, but you'll find out some ideas how they behave on the outside. When you know they're going to the football field or they're going to a cricket match, don't tell them you're coming. Go and have an overlook over your children. It is your children. Sometimes we know them one way, but we don't know what they're doing on the outside and ending. And on a lighter note, Mr. Ali, I am having dessert after dinner.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes, our dessert is on. Yes.
Oh, you mean, right. Oh, I came in late on that joke.
Mukesh.
Oh, no. I think it's something else he said. Sorry. I think it's something.
Watch what you're saying, right?
So let us stick to the issues of the day. Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Now, when I've been talking to people. I don't know if you know Dr. Bachan Rampol.
No.
Educational psychologist.
Okay.
And I've spoken to a lot of principals, former principals, who have been looking at what's happening with children. I asked them, I said, listen, these little boys who shoot around the place now, young men, with little toddlers falling down.
Yes.
These are 5-year-olds in the class and they fall down, miss, look, I got caught. What happened?
You know, I saw a picture in the social media a day or two ago. A young guy, must be 14 years old, with two shotguns in his hand. And you know, it reminds me of something we all know, that there are gun factories in this country. Well, we have guns flow. We have a gang factories in this country. That's the point I want to make.
Correct.
That where these youths come up, I mean, a 14-year-old could be a hardened criminal, or you're criminal, and they keep coming up. Go ahead.
Making the point. You see, when the family don't have that close relationship with their children, and they go into school, they exhibit certain behaviors in school as well. But he is looking for those that need somebody to say, come now, you come, do this and do that, and take up $5, and they recruiting down the road. So it starts with the family. If you're going to enter the strength with family night, a family is supposed to have one night every week at least, with a couple hours where it's talking with their children, discussing things in general. Go on, make a chore, whatever. But the children must feel part of something. But the majority of cases now, the children are put before the TV, and the TV is the babysitter. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think we are at the top of the hour. I'm sure we are at the top of the hour. Let's take this call, and then we take that break. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Mr. Ali. You hit the nail on the head, man.
No.
With guns.
Yes. It doesn't stop.
So, if the AG is the head of the law of the land, and his alleged children is holding guns on a military base, so these guys' property. But it appears so they have Gary Griffith, one shot, one kill. But for the AG, his children, I wonder how far Gary reached with that case. Thanks.
And you know, as we take this break, years ago, Black Stalin sang sang it in the context of South Africa, that the more black people that were coming forward to fight for the end of apartheid, they were freedom fighters. And I remember that term, more come in Trinidad and Tobago, to apply the term to Trinidad and Tobago, the more people, more criminals that die in one way or the other. Either the police kill them or they die in gang warfare. And so faith about the education system and family life and so on. In many cases, they don't have that. Many cases, they do not go to school. They don't have anything like a father figure. They don't have a family life and so on. And the only life they know is one of crime. They have no skills. They can't go and get a job, and then they go out in town and they see a fellow with expensive sneakers and bling. That they have no legitimate way in which you could earn inevitably to a life of crime, where it's easy to access guns, it's easy to get into drug running, and that is how it happens. It's at the top of the hour. We take the break and come back.
FM, Hot Like Pepper, Monte Carlo. Grand opening Chai Thai restaurant situated at LP 12 Golden Grove Road, Piaku. Come and enjoy our authentic Thai and Indian cuisine, and our outdoor terrace would be available from the 22nd of June. We can offer you our indoor and outdoor dining. All meats halal. For reservations, call 331-1093. Our email address, chaithai19@gmail.com. Opening hours 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Takeaway and delivery services are available 11 a.m. to 2:20 p.m.
And electrical supplies, water heaters, filters and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands Varma, BTCino, Leviton and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. K-Wise Electrical Supplies Limited. A&S Hardware and General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. From foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacy inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Carry Care International Medical Card, Guardian Life locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rosha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk 9th June from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, this Monday, 29th June for Talk.
5:05 in Trinidad and Tobago. Today is a special day, and for a wonderful lady, Lucinda Cardenas Ragunanan, the former Senior Magistrate Ragunanan, well-known maritime expert, businessman, politician, and so on. So we want to say happy birthday to Lucinda. Wonderful lady, and I think you know her. Wonderful,
Very well.
Wonderful lady. Happy
Indeed.
birthday to you. Best wishes. We still trying to find out, how you manage with Harry, but it's a matter not for the public. Anyways, happy birthday to you. 5:05, let's continue with the calls. 636-754-7227. We remind you at 6 p.m. Mukesh is on. He has a power-packed program, not only today, but every day he plans a nice mixture
Monday
of
to Friday.
yeah, the music and talk and so on. So there's that. We have Nick.
Of the election, and who believe they can win and who believe they can lose. But I don't have enough time to really give you the real insight of it. And I have too much explanation. But consider this. Consider Borneo. Consider Tonopuna. And consider Maruba Tableland. Now in 2000, put Mr. Assam in Tonopuna, he won by 2,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
And they never won it again until 2010 when Mr. Visesa came in, and by 4,000 votes. And Mr. Ford won it in 2015 by 4,000 votes. Same thing happened in Sultan. But it's the same trend that when they win, 2015 they lost. When Mr. Visesa, well, I'll tell you what will decide whether she win or lose this time. And people are not thinking about that, but I think about election very seriously, and I think about it. There's a party they call the ONR that was formed after Carlos Philip left the PNM in 81. Now they lost. They got 100 and some of them are dead. The PNM, but they didn't meet ONR people. Because ONR people were not PNM or PNM, and that is how Mr. Pandey was able to get 17-17-2 after the 86 election. Manin won a very slim majority. Then Mr. Pandey got the 17-17-2. Mr. Robertson gave him the 2 seats and he went in. And very significant, 2000, he won 19 seats, 15 PNM. So if you beat the PNM 1959, Mr. Pandey. Pandey was not a good political leader. Mr. Pandey make more enemies than he make friends. And he won that well. The rest is history because Mr. Robinson bring back Mr. Manning. And he wasn't able to win at all. And she became the political leader. And she sweep out the PNM 1912. It's the first time the UNC ever won so much of seats in their life. And in 250 more, and they only got 18, they lost the 11. So I am saying, if the UNC can lobby the ONR until they die, she would win the election. But in 2010, when they give her the support, she would have come back to them so that she could have organized them into groups and listen to what they have to say, when like calendar. And you know, people like that, they were not strong enough
All right.
to organize the party. They thought they have a rubber stamp, but they have to work on the ONR people who are not paying them until I did. I just briefly as I could give you.
Thank
but
you.
there's no
What you're saying essentially,
Any legitimate reason for the government or the Prime Minister to deny businesses from opening how they want to, because they are boasting on one side how good they have done in controlling COVID, and with their data and vision that they are putting to the population, that there are no community COVID in the country. All the existence of COVID in this country is from what is imported and what we finding out that is on this cruise ship. So the thing what is bothering me now is that how it is all tying in this thing to the bar situation now. Now they are broad brushing bars as every business operates like a bar that would open at 10 o'clock in the morning and close at 10 in the afternoon. But it that operates that would open around 6 or 7 in the afternoon, and they would have a crowd that they would cater for. Their staff would be over 25, and you telling these people them that here what they cannot have more now. Other business there is a bar. Now when 25 from this one come out, 25 from that one come out, and 25 come, that whole streets look like it's a carnival. Somebody could take a picture of that and post it up into social media and say what kind of bacchanal going on there. But that don't mean that how.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that why it is we are not in a state of emergency. We are just normal. It's just the COVID we're dealing with in this country, and we have a prime minister in this country trying to tell the population how to operate. Isn't right there. All these people I'm supposed to be lobbying right now, put it in their businesses, and something isn't right here. This cannot be right. If
I'll
you
share my
confirm
thoughts on
to the
this. Yeah,
population
thank
that
you.
how there isn't COVID in the country, why it is you on your own volition making these type
Right,
of
okay. You made that point. Okay,
Yes, you
thanks. I'll give you my thoughts on that just now. Good afternoon to you.
Ken, listen to the last caller. Good afternoon, Ms. Duki. Good afternoon, Ken.
Yes, good afternoon.
You know, one thing I want to say is that I believe to myself that our health is more important than anything else. And if someone goes in...
No, but you see, Eric, nobody is disputing that. I don't think we should use the program to say things that are obvious. The issue here, which I find some sympathy with, is what is the scientific basis for limiting hours? In other words, I'm applying it to the bar earlier. You could go at 7 o'clock and there's no issue there. You could, once you adhere to the general guidelines. So you adhere to the guidelines at 7 o'clock, they have no problem, you have your drink. But at 9 o'clock, there's...
Very behind it.
And they need to tell us
you
what's the
allow-
theory.
if you allow
What's the science?
extended hours, If you allow extended hours, persons become inhibited, and then they lose their sense of reason.
Well, tell us that.
and
If
they are
there's a science,
unable
yeah.
to apply the necessary science of physical distancing and all of that.
Well, tell
So
us,
that
tell
may
us.
very
We're
well
bright
be-
people, we need to
That
know.
may very well be a theory behind it. But we must understand simply this, that we are so lucky when we compare to what is happening 50 all over the world. People just dropping like flies. And this has come about because of the rigid management that has taken place in this country. And really and truly, should we give that up because the bar has to open? Now, let me just say this to you. Everybody have a right to run the business, and I understand the angst. But if it's your business is a bar, and there's a possibility, a high probability that it could very well be an incubator for this virus, do you really want to take that risk?
Good. Eric, I'll share my
Right?
thoughts on that. Thank you. Good afternoon to you.
Mr. Ali,
Yeah.
breaking news. At approximately 5:03, they were blocking the main road on Hobart Junction.
Okay.
We announced that already.
New, this is a new development?
Well, they pull it down all the thing and the stuff.
Okay, well, all right. Well, we're trying to follow that up as
Yes.
we speak, but we have spoken about that incident there. If this is something new, well, it is something new to us too. Yeah?
All right.
Yeah, where are you? Are you in that area?
No.
Good. All right, thanks. We would...
Heading east, they have.
You see, I don't think, Eric, and our other listeners, now anybody disputes, nobody could dispute the fact that the government must institute measures, and the measures have generally, we have to assume they work well, although I think there's another assumption, if we make an assumption, that we have not had community spread in this country. All of it is associated with people coming in, like in cruise ships and so on. We continue that after this call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again, Ken.
All right.
Ken, they keep mentioning this word asymptomatic. Now, all these people who's asymptomatic that could transmit this disease, they are not transferring it all now. How the cases, the same people who could go in a bar and infect people that is asymptomatic, they are going to the groceries and things, they are going to church, they are going to temple, they are going to the beach, they are associated with nobody that if they transmit this virus to them, that they would show symptoms and have to be going to the hospital and be treated for COVID, and then we could know that, okay, some asymptomatic person have COVID in the country, and look, they contaminate people. So they are using a set of weak points to mamagai a set of foolish people that would come to try to justify the dotishness that is taking place. Let me tell you something. They talk about how fast they close the borders and things. Before we close the borders, all the other countries that was highly infected with COVID were shut in their borders. Their country, like Spain and Italy and France and all kind, to come to Trinidad. So we just was lucky that during Carnival time, this thing didn't reach this part of the region yet and spread into the country. It's the same thing going on with all the other Caribbean islands.
Okay.
They don't have it in the community also in the borders.
Yes, yeah,
so
that has an important part.
that is a real.
It is. Okay, okay, I've expressed my views on that. I don't want to come back to that. I want to talk about something else. I'm looking at a picture here. Somebody help me understand this. I could really never understand this. Scenarios like this. There's a man named Fayad Ali who was a prospective candidate for the UNC in San Fernando West. He went up for nomination, he campaigned and so on, and they could only select one candidate. They selected somebody else, right? Now, he has been PNM and so PNM didn't do anything and so on. I'm summarizing the story very quickly. But all of a sudden, I think if you believe in a certain set of ideology, philosophy, and so on. All of a sudden, the man put on a red shirt and he campaigning with Faris Al-Rawi. I really don't understand how these things happen. You have the Parta fella, all of a sudden, because you gypsy. How these things happen? Do you have a set of beliefs at all, or politics is pure opportunism?
People trust him?
Somebody brighter than me must tell me that. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ali.
Yes, maybe
right
you could
now
answer
as we
that.
speak here.
Huh?
Right now as we speak, the PNM candidate for Naparima, just walking by, we come from a family like the Fayad Ali and Colin Partap too. So it seems to be a lot of people going across on the other side.
The defecting him?
Yeah. And his family, Sponge.
Oh, I miss him.
Pardon?
I said I miss him.
You know,
Naparima.
what's his name? What's his name? Call the gentleman's name.
Sinanan.
Sinanan for Naparima.
Sinanan, okay.
Yeah, and I just want to remind Elmont again, you just come and give wrong information. I don't want you to fool me. UNC on that camera, she have never won an election. In 2010, there was 5 or 6 parties coming together. And when they started to leave the UNC, the backfire started. She lost Chaguanas West and St. Joseph, for examples, and come and withdraw local elections. So the most about us, the UNC win up to now with 19 under Mr. Pandey. And she made Mr. Pandey. The whole of the COP walkout, OWTU, MSA, even Garvin Nicholson, who got a short front of Attorney General with her.
Nicholas.
He has a party too.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. No, and
That's Attorney Randy Sinanan.
Right, Randy Sinanan. Yes. Now, I think we must start a segment on this program heading to the election. Something like help me understand this, or things I don't understand. So that what I just told you about Fayad Ali and Partap and thing, I don't understand that. Here's the next thing I don't understand. This is the 3rd consecutive election, heading to election, that turned this out for the San Fernando waterfront. Help, they think all of us were fools. So they go on, they dig up the thing, and, everybody shake, then shake hand, but, all
of nice ribbon.
Yes, as we call it, they say, you understand? Good afternoon. Hi, good
Hello,
afternoon.
Hello.
Yep, you're there. Go ahead quickly.
Hello?
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, Belmont. Sorry to disturb you again, right?
Go
now,
ahead.
Think about the bars. If this shouldn't happen only now because of the COVID. This should happen all time. What you allowing people to open a bar at 8 o'clock in the morning when they should be looking for work or feeding the animals and things like that? I can understand you open the bars at 10 o'clock. But no one should be allowed to stay in that bar because remember, the bar hold goods like alcoholic beverages that get you intoxicated. And when you get intoxicated, you get fights, you get murders, and you get people looking for other type of intoxication like drugs and so on. So when someone enters a bar, there should be a limited amount, and they should have a ticket when they arrive, certain time for 4 hours. Then another set come in between there, between 10 and 2, and they drink and so on. So once it come in 9, but you stay until 1. 4 hours in a bar is sufficient for you to carry home the balance of money for your wife or your family. So night, like what used to go on before, and people shouldn't be allowed to drink on the side of the road.
Yeah,
That
okay.
is wrong.
Thank
when
you, sir.
they buy the liquor, they should have a seat, and if they buy a lunch or 10 o'clock, no bar should be open to sell intoxicating.
Thank you. You know, all of that.
When they go home to the wife, when they're young, they beat their
All right.
wife and
We
the
want to
family.
go to another call. Thank you.
This is one of the main reasons why we're having so much of disorder and
Right.
problems.
Thank you.
Going 2 o'clock, you must leave by 6 o'clock.
All right, good. Now, all of that may be fine, and I'm not opposed to any of that, but don't tell us you're closing the place 2 hours before because of COVID. There's no science to support that. You could say that it's because of security reasons or to save money. You could advocate that. Don't tell us it's because of COVID when there's no science to support that. Good afternoon. Good
Hello?
afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Each sector in ceremony has a kilometer code.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3. You have one more coming up again, right? That's in front.
Oh,
I'll tell you when.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to understand that, I mean, successive governments do it, but especially PNM perfect the art, boy. They perfect the art. Every little thing. They're opening a bridge in down my skin park there, and over the bridge. Oh, God, you could imagine. So Gypsy and Parrot up there. Good afternoon.
Mr. Ali?
Yes.
In Toronto,
Uh-huh.
ordinarily they close all bars at 1 o'clock.
At 1 a.m. or?
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
And at 12:45, 12:50, they come and they clear out the table, rum or scotch there. And they clear it out.
I want to ask you this. Is this
Yes.
associated with COVID-19?
No, that's ordinary practice.
Right, and that's fair enough.
It has nothing to do. And when you go outside, the police in the car park.
Mm-hmm. So you better have a driver also.
Yes.
And that makes sense. And I have no problem with them closing the bars earlier because of crime.
And they come and they clear out the table. Even if you have drinking on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And you leave. And when you walk outside, the police there.
Yes. So don't even consider going to drive. Because they'll
Yeah.
arrest you. Right. Yeah,
Okay.
And that makes sense. And you're right. Thank you for that. There should be that in Britain too. I think they the hours and so on. But don't tell us that has to do with COVID-19 when you can't justify it scientifically. Good afternoon. Hi.
No, I don't mind what they're doing about the bar and all these things, I want to start from the beginning. I don't like how Stuart Young talk.
Mm-hmm.
The tone of voice is not my father.
He's very
You
authoritarian.
understand what I'm saying?
Very,
I am a citizen and we put him there. He can talk. You tone down your voice in a different way. Attack the situation in a different way. If you want to change the hours.
You speak
now
for
let
all
me
of
tell
us.
you what they're scared of.
Mm-hmm.
You have in the bar? The bar is the ideal campaigning ground for the UNC. Serious? That is a lot of discussion, political discussion takes place in the bar. And that's a lot of campaigning will be going on. And everybody want to get rid of this government, can't you?
I like that. I want somebody else to comment on that. Is that true? 527. Is it the longer you stay in the bar, the more you campaign for the UNC? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I feel a person.
The person gets shy.
Yeah,
Public campaign.
And listen, I don't know gonna analyze that.
Good afternoon, welcome.
I'll leave that for somebody else. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi.
Yeah, Mr. Belmont, you just talking like a dictator and saying the more less hours that these people work, it affects their pay. Right? And the question involved is that what is to be done? Not living up to expectation. Right? You take action against them.
Absolutely.
But you don't punish a whole country, Trinidad and Tobago, all the bars, for a few might be great. And this is what this arrogant Prime Minister don't want to understand. Thank you.
Thank you. And listen, and we talk about they're allowing it to open at 8 and so on. And some of these places serve breakfast, begin to prepare lunch. People come and have lunch. And so all of these things take place there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon.
I want to make a comment on that caller, the one before this, who said that a lot of political campaigning.
I want to hear a comment on that, bad.
Well, that is in fact true there. There is a lot of truth in that there.
Go ahead, explain.
Because I remember in 2010, there were about 6 or 7 of us. There was a rule. You go, you make market with the wife and you come back. You go down and you buy it till about 1 o'clock, and it's only heavy politics.
Right. No, my point out of all of this, well, I mean, I'm a Trini. I know what you're saying. I understand very well. My point is, well, you don't you line with like-minded people. In other words, let's say you're all your NC people, or your Pandey people, or your PP.
Well, it so happened that all of us were supporters, but within the group there would be different points. Like if we were still doing it up to now, because I done going on and going away and things. But when we were there, there was a debate like that candidate should not have been there. What he do for the party? We would have been debating internally in the party.
There's a lot of political talk in the bar.
Right.
But I think the caller was making the point that there really there's a campaigning as distinct from political talk.
Then sometimes somebody will overhear you from another table and he might be a PNM and he will say, "Fella, I want to tell all this." There is a lot of campaigning taking part in bars.
Okay.
And that is a part of Trini.
Yes.
I get.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Trini enough to understand that. But the whole thing that, the campaign. But of course, a lot of political talk takes place in the bar room. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Hi.
I'm going okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, you said this fella they didn't pick. He go on and join with us.
That's fire,
Ali.
Yeah, man,
And then Paratab gone down there.
Paratab gone too.
To help Gypsy.
Uh-huh.
No, they didn't pick Dano Suku. She come out here and say a word. They didn't pick Ramaji. They come out there and say a word. They didn't say a single thing. But you know, if you would have heard this big bacchanal.
Yes.
That's why I said you can. UNC people, they like Kankalan.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you that again. They go on from Kankalan to Kankatan.
Yeah, thank you. I say it is a cultural difference, really. But we talk about defections, and our callers are telling us of several names, and there are several more we could add to it. But the
Ken and
Anne.
I crave your indulgence. I called twice, but an interesting thing came up with the rum shop thing, and I just want to share a quick experience.
Anytime a pundit wants to talk about the rum shop, I'm all ears.
I came in this country in 1981, but I came back in 1982. Since then I was here, and I was in Montrose University election time, and downstairs where I was staying was a rum shop. All right, and Basdev Pandey was passing into the rum shop, right? Sat down with the guys in the rum shop, chatting and so on. I couldn't understand then the nature of the politics or whatever, and so on. And later on, I got to admire Pandey for that, because once Robinson called Pandey a drunkard, and Pandey retorted. He said, "Listen, I go in the bars and think to take a drink with my people. You are on the cocktail circuit knocking glass of whiskey. What's the difference?" He shut him up one time. But the thing about politics in the bar is a reality, man. And if you want to hear about the Ramayana and thing, go in the bar, Papa.
Oh, really?
All right. Yeah,
That's what they call rum shop politics.
Yes, that's why they call it rum shop politics. In fact, the bar room is a microcosm of the national society. Everything takes place there, really. Yes, yeah, we acknowledge that, but we're just applying that to the COVID and so on. And I want to also state again that the food is served there, it provides jobs, there are cooks, and there are also related activity where you get your poultry and other suppliers need and serve and create employment. That's the point I'm making. Good afternoon to you.
Mr. Kenali.
Yes, sir.
And blessed be to you, sir. You see, when you just watch people, the attitude, Mrs. Kamala Prasad is for loyalty. When she stood up for it, you do the people's job or you do it. You see, PNM, you can do whatever you want to sell this, sell that, keep this, do this, do that. Mrs. Kamala say a wrong is a wrong, you can come back. Look what Miss Marlene done. Mr. Rajesh, they fire them. They fire Mr. Smith. No, indiscipline. This government, as long as Mrs. Kamala Prasad stand up for something, you have to be loyal to what you do. Be honest. But people, the indiscipline in this country, people love it, Mr. Kenali. Look like look at Kentucky, Royal Castle, all these places opening. People load up to. Who's saying something about that? Only the rum shop. You see, Mr. Kenali, when look, all these places were closed down in Twin City and all these. Who going to take that over? Is the Chinese and the Syrians? People don't understand. The Indians and the Africans have been bought out of this country, and we cannot see it. And we only studying this one and that one. We are making a great mistake. We go to school, you are too overqualified for this job. Who doing all the bank jobs? The Indians and the Africans. In Kentucky and all, the Indians and the Africans. We have to Prasad Bisesa. They don't want you there. Leave the country how it's running. Corruption is a way of life. Too wrong cannot make a right, Mr. Kenali.
Thank you.
Mr. Kamala Prasad will stand up for honesty, and we, the citizens, if we want our taxpayers' money spent properly, put Mrs. Kamala back.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Ali and
Hi.
Ann and listeners. Mr. Ali, you see when Mr. Belmont spoke about the time limit for someone, I don't know if people would remember longer when I was a child and you go in the bus and you buy a ticket, is to have a number, and period of driving, it will have a checker will ticket and match the number with the conductor tickets that they have. So you can't be no scheming and saying that, oh, you're coming at one point. So if it is they have this ticket system in the bars and don't allow them to spend all day in the bars and not to go and do their work or not to go on with the family and those things, because Mr. Ali, you see some of the men, what they do, they say they're not working, but they're going in the bar and they're spending all the little change that
They're
they
drinking
have.
rum whole day.
Hello?
Yeah. But,
They're drinking all day.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're
Mr.
drinking-
Ali. And when they go home, not everybody, some of them just beat and ill-treat them in fear. So if they have, that's what Mr. Belmont said, it's a very good idea. And they cannot stay more than 4 hours in the bar. Thank
Except
you.
you could go to our next bar
She's
now.
saying from bus
Yes.
to bus. Bus to bus.
On the bus. You go to the next bar, but we understand the social problem you're talking about here. But you have started a whole discussion on bars, the appropriateness of bars, and what the conversation that takes place in the bars. Good afternoon.
I said, when I analyze how it has got and these fellows helping gypsy out for the PNM, they're not helping the PNM. I understand they will call Mr. Basset Sunday because they want to get rid of UNC, so you got to take a leadership of the party.
I mean, I would like to talk to Ms. Pandey. We tried to contact her. We want to hear her story. And members of the party, good afternoon to you.
Even Mr. Kenali.
Yes, sir.
The logics of cutting down the bar to 2 hours doesn't make any, I didn't see any mathematical or any way to explain that. Because at the end of the day, I think the first weekend, I mean, you had to give people a light to remember the one. But besides that, I think after last weekend, what they should have done is allow You can't punish me. What about now? I control my code and my banners. If I bring a picture and show that I control my code and my banner, I get punished with the pass of everybody. Your laws and by your guidelines is for who flaunt it. You already have your appropriate punishment. So why pull me into that? So I think it's unfair because at the end of the day, when you look at the structure of our bar mentality, 8 o'clock bar means, that's very practical. That is, but that you open, it makes sense. Yeah, 10 o'clock was kind of fair.
Yeah,
a man coming in from work, leave work, sit passing, get up and drink 2 beer, relax for a few minutes, and at least 10 o'clock is bad. So, 10 o'clock is better than 10 o'clock. It's already fair.
Thank you. We lost you. 636-7547-227-5739. Good afternoon. Hi.
Hello. Those bars bring in a lot of money for those beers, Carib, Stag, all those drinks, local drinks, rum, puncheon. Those things sell like white on rice in a bar. And it also creates jobs. But lately we've seen a lot of Venezuelan women getting jobs in those bars, and now they're back out. And it's not our local people getting those jobs. But the idea of closing those bars, let's just say something. Today the Minister of Health spent a lot of time applauding all the people, business people, double vendors, people who run supermarkets, and praising them for wearing masks and adhering to the rules. But then he would come back and scold us and say, if you violate these, we're going to, and we have to be very careful about the language he's using, and looking at that time schedule and the level of crime and our trade with other countries, because what they can be doing is they can be chipping away at certain rights that we have and putting we under a lockdown where the police now, they're patrolling the streets from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then they will showcase a group of people, maybe 5 people out of the whole country, maybe violating the rule, but they're not seeing a whole bunch of people violating the rules. And I think sometimes we have to be careful with the news we're getting, because when people call in and say, oh, I see a whole group of people, I was driving around today and I see a lot of people wearing masks, and they were complaining. I talked to a couple and they said they hate it because of the Sahara dust and they can't breathe. So we have to be careful, because remember, we are tittering almost because our constitutional rights constantly get violated in this country. And you have to kind of pay attention to what the government is saying.
In an arbitrary road, like I keep saying, without any scientific basis.
Yeah, and guess what? Nobody's questioning them, and the Prime Minister will loosely say, we are basing everything on science and science and data, and he's not. The only data they're giving you is how many people from the cruise ship came out with the virus, from foreign countries with the virus. They're not giving us the hard data for the whole country. How many tests did we do nationally? How many were in Chaguanas? How many were in Port of Spain? Can you give us regions? They're not going to give you that data. To be very, very cautious, and we listen to that. And I want to say something about children, and I'll make it very quick, Ken.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you something, we have beautiful children in this country, and many of them fall through the cracks through no fault of their own. And it's not because of poor parenting, it's because of lack of opportunities. And our government, all governments, have not done enough to help the children in this country. So what do? They turn to crime, they turn to drugs, and we have a high dropout rate, and nobody cares. We throw them at survival.
Even worse. But thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ken, and good afternoon, Anna.
Good afternoon.
Ken, I had to call back. I just saw a video clip of a protest
in Mova Junction.
It is frightening.
We saw it, yes.
It is frightening. The barriers, the police in the middle of the road, the drums all over the place. You know what is interesting? The police station is about a minute away from there, and I didn't see any police.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
It is frightening. It looks like they're going into hiding, the police. No,
and equally important, I want to ask, where's the commissioner in all of this? Normally, Lives Matter protests in the Savannah and so on. Has he turned up? Let me ask it this way. Has he turned up?
No. I ain't seen nobody. And I'm glad on this to tell people don't pass at that junction.
Yes.
You understand? We have to give them a thumbs up.
Indeed. Well, we have said that.
Because, the only positive part of it, no fire is lit. Because, there's a gas station within throwing this stone throw away.
And the commissioner, as you speak, it reminds me, the commissioner had said that when there was a protest in South, that he's going to take action against such...
And the thing is, you have the Mova police station, you have the Victoria police station in 2 minutes away, and nobody responded.
Yes.
You understand? Then you have the, oh my gosh, and they have Besson Street right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And here's how much that bridge at Crossing cost. And you could imagine this: $22 million for this bridge at $22 million. There's a bridge, a simple bridge over the Superior River. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Ken. You see that march business? Well, years ago when I used to work in town, and look, the commissioner didn't give them okay. That's so sad, and you have people.
Yes, good point. That's true. That is absolutely true.
I wanted to get consent.
Yeah.
I wanted to get an okay to march on the Eastern Main Road from whichever they come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's for a special type of people, a special brand of people, anyhow they want to put it. Did you say anything? You going to ZZ or what?
Well, we know what happened to Gigi. Well, he may be on the scene right now.
One more thing, Mr. Ken.
Uh-huh.
I are trying to find out about my central.
Uh-huh.
Who is it in County Central?
Who is the candidate?
Well, it hasn't been announced.
Well, I'll tell you, we're hearing a lot of speculation, but I'm not going to come on the radio and call names.
They go wait for the day before election.
Well, you notice I raised that yesterday with Miss John, who is a deputy leader.
I wait, honestly, Mr. Ken, honestly, I don't care who here, but I waiting to see what Michaela Pandey come with.
Right.
And I think because the UNC, since last year, I used to call on the station, I'm trying to get the counselor. And
yes, I remember. Yes.
Right.
Anil Baliram, that is the man name? Is Anil Baliram?
Yes.
Anil Baliram, yeah. You see, I remember?
Yes, and the how do you call man? I catch him lying too.
Oh, Lord.
I catch him lying because he asked me, when I went to the office and I meeting, he asked me, but when we went in there, you know what she said?
Mm-hmm.
She said, no, we didn't go in there. So I catch him lying in front of the face, and the lady didn't lie to. She spoke the truth because he's a normal worker.
Mm-hmm.
I have a representative in my area, and I see them around, and I like to ask questions.
Of course, yes.
I know that we have to see. We have to give them a chance.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your call. Thank you. We lost a few calls. We are going just before 6. Our friend Mukesh, and your friend Mukesh, is going to be here. Remember that every weekday evening from 6 p.m. in this town. Go ahead.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. A gang of people from the Moruga area went and walk about with the UNC candidate on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And when they went to work with the CPF gang this morning, and the contractor tell them that is a PNM CPF, so they can't go and campaign in the US.
Yes. I don't know that. I firmly believe that. But if the contractor get the
what is the contractor name?
Get the contractor's name if you don't have it now.
No, they stopped him from calling the contractor name and tell him to give him it off the air.
No man, no. I want to hear the contractor's
See
name.
if you can get the name for us.
Watch me. I'll feed your guy tomorrow because they're taking the name off the air, they go investigate and then call the name.
Listen,
Bridge.
Yeah.
I passing on the ammunition cracking already and they're not opening it.
You're joking.
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna pass this soon.
Open that area.
Tomorrow I will try and call and see if I get the name.
Yeah, we want to hear the contractor's name and I'm gonna pass over the bridge.
I will listen on to the gong report and see if they're going to release it tomorrow.
All right, but we want to hear it. Share it with us. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. 12 minutes to the hour of 6. Let's call out the contractor and we'll call him live on the radio and say we hear you send home workers because they campaign for the
political
UNC.
allegiance.
And I know as fact that workers who are being made to campaign for the PNM give out jersey and thing and all them kinds of things they do when they're walking. Good afternoon.
Lack of opportunities. This country education from the cradle to the grave. And children drop out of school. All of primary and secondary school. When I went to secondary school, if you pass common entrance, and your mother, father, the five mothers paid a private secondary school for you. Now today, you have to worry about where you're going, you know. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, you're moving up the road. And talk about what? Lunch in school, breakfast in school, book grant. Well, lack of opportunities, too much giveaways. Thank you.
Thank you. Bridge costs $22 million, and if you see how they parade in front of this thing, it's a bridge, a little bridge. Look at bridges we've opened. This is a tremendous lot about the government when what they have to boast about after 5 years is opening a bridge. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Just following up to the science in any reduced hours. What they have said earlier is that by reducing the hours, they reduce the exposure. So if a man goes in the bar and he sits down for 2 hours, he meets about 15 people. If he stays for 4 hours, he might meet 30 people interact. In time when you had the COVID was active in Trinidad, when you had to go to the grocery, you wanted to go in and as quick as possible and come out. So the science was very reducing exposure. I mean,
but you think that applies in this case with I could more congestion at the bar? You're not limited. Listen, I went to a supermarket, I had to join a line and put on mask and gloves and things. And they limit the number of people who went in at that time. That makes sense. I went to a pharmacy. But here they're not limiting the number of people. Well, the limit was always 25. They haven't reduced that limit. I don't understand how this applies.
Because, I mean, bars, if you look all over the world, the first thing they shut down is bars, and the last thing to open back. So,
yeah.
They have no mask and so on. So, they're looking at...
But limiting the hours, I don't understand if the limiting the hours limits the exposure. Go ahead.
The point you made about the people switching sides. Everybody, when you vote, sometimes someone might vote UNC 1 5 years, PNM 1 5 years. The same thing like those fellas from Papa and PNM, you know, they switch accordingly again. 1 year they feel like they
okay.
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. I just want petition. I wonder if we don't hold them to a different standard, or whether we shouldn't hold them. We shouldn't hold them to a different standard in that you believe a certain ideology. But I think this caller is also making the point that the same thing voters do. They move from side to side from time to time. Good afternoon.
Ms. Duki, Ken, I just want to add a footnote, Ken.
Yeah.
Now, while they said that bars must close at 8 p.m., the minister made it clear that restaurants and bars can open up to 10, eh? So I just want to talk about you. I heard you talking question who does cook food and all of that.
Yeah, but
the restaurant and bars can still open up to 10. But bars,
Eric,
okay?
I don't know if you're a man. I mean, you're a decent man. I don't know if you just go to rum shop and thing. But, you know,
in the my mother grew up in the Adventist church, but you know alcohol at all, whole life.
But, you know, if you go in there, well, I'm a man of the street. But if you go in there, you'll see the serve people, you know. Huh?
I go to the bar.
Okay, well, I didn't ask you about drinking, I asked about visiting the bar. And when you go, you'll see the prepared meals. Who didn't prepare those meals? It's ordinary people involved in the informal sector who many of...
yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So that's the point I'm making. It creates
people
employment.
People go there to relax, you know.
Huh?
It's like the sign.
Yeah, everybody knows it. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Cheers. Everybody knows your name. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
You know? Okay, take care.
Thank you. Yes, I like how you summarized that. Where everybody knows your name. One of my answers we wrap up, but we take this call. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Ken, me again. This government wrong side. This way in the
then
they put hardware to open for half day to avoid the crowd when they could have keep the hardware open whole day. Remember that?
Yes, indeed.
And now they take out 2 hours from the bar. I don't know what difference they're going to make. This government is supposed to start from preschool and come up the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you know, it looked 6 to 9 with his talk, his music, and of course his laughter. We aim to be back at 3 p.m. tomorrow. We thank you very much for all your calls, and you know, I always aim to try and read as many messages. As always, we didn't get to complete all those messages. We thank you very much for your messages, for your calls, and for all your listenership wherever you are in Trinidad and Tobago, the Eastern Caribbean, in North America, and wherever other parts of the world. Thank you very much. We have more opportunities, more platforms to see us. Our colleague Shiva had us on YouTube.com, RCA listeners, also on 975 radio. We aim to be back, of course, Mukesh at 6 p.m., just after 6 p.m. Newscast, Kenrick and Nicole, 6 to 9 tomorrow. We have a lot planned as we head into the general coverage, a lot of interviews and much more. This is the place to be, and you could, as we said, get us on all the social media platforms. Thank you again. Thank you so much for being with us and for the healthy discussions we had. We enjoyed it very much. Well, since the bars closing at 8, we can't go to the bars. We're not going at all. Maybe when it open back, you know, for like 10 o'clock and so on, or as they call it.
Quality unbleached bromate-free, all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited, 665-3336, or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisha Limited.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware materials from foundation to